What's going on, everybody? Kyle Powers here, Haven Real Estate Group at eXp Realty. I'm here with another wonderful episode of Local Legends of the Flint Hills, where business meets community. I have a very fun cast with me here today at Manhattan Arts Center. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Let's just kind of get into it, right? So I want to ask each individually, I want you all to answer, what is your background with the arts and what brought you to Manhattan Arts Center, and then what is your role here as well?
Sure. My name is Addie Johnson. I am the Director of Theater Education here at the MAC, and I've been involved in theater and the arts since I was 4. So it's kind of in my blood, and I moved back to Kansas about 2 years ago from New York City, and happy to be back in the arts here in Kansas. I coordinate the classes for our youth theater participants.
Okay.
What was the question?
Right.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Chaz Coberly. I am the Artistic Director here at Manhattan Arts Center. I've been doing community theater for about 20 years. Kind of have one of those winding tales, as lots of community theater people do, where I didn't go to school to do theater. I got a undergrad degree in physics, went to law school, practiced law in Salina, Kansas for 7 years. But the bug from high school and before that just never left me. So then I had to make the jump and actually commit to theater. So I went to Columbia University in NYC, and I'm getting a master's degree in theater management and producing. And as part of that, my wife and I wanted to move back and be closer to home. And a wonderful opportunity opened up here at Manhattan Arts Center. So we made the jump. As part of my duties, I'm in charge of all things theater. So for those who are familiar with the nomenclature in theater, I'm kind of an artistic director / line producer. Here my title is artistic director, but that means anything theater, I kind of oversee it. Whether it's programming, whether it's producing and building teams, I'm in charge of culture and making sure everything is running smoothly, growing the volunteer base, building budgets, and generally making sure everyone has a pleasant experience creating theater here at the theater.
Awesome.
I'm Kendra Kman. I'm the Executive Director at Manhattan Arts Center. Wow, I have been in this position for 1 year. We moved back to Manhattan 5 years ago, and I'm a K-Stater, and I also went to KU, but we won't talk about that. But I did spend several years in Lawrence. My kids were really involved in the arts and actually went to an arts-based preschool. And that got my attention. My background is really marketing, fundraising, and development. So I've done several fundraising positions, but moving back to Manhattan, I felt like I wanted to get involved and invested in the arts here. So when we moved here 5 years ago, I joined the board at the Manhattan Arts Center and served on the board and really worked to grow programming and get more out into the community. So I also worked at the Community Foundation and did some grant writing. I guess I'm just personally invested in the arts and growing the arts here. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity to grow the arts here, especially arts education. We really are the hub for arts education here. And I think our facility is very small. We are trying to grow out of our space, so use other spaces in the community to keep growing our programs while we can, because I really think there's a need and desire for more arts and arts education for all ages in our community.
I'm Blake Le Bunning. I'm the Director of Marketing and Operations here at MAC, and my background actually started in music. I started when I was 3 years old with music lessons and did piano and singing and kind of got very invested in that. Professionally, I started in education. I was a music teacher for several years. And just through life and course and events, got into kind of event planning and coordinating and development and fundraising and a whole aspect, and got very passionate about promoting arts opportunities for other people to get involved in. And so that's kind of set me on where I'm at today. But we've lived in Manhattan almost 9 years, and I've been a big fan of MAC and what it does and its mission. It has kind of spoken to my soul in a lot of ways, and I love the fact that my job now gets to try to tell the story. I try to tell the story of what we do here and who we are and get people excited about participating and making sure that figuratively, that door is wide open for our community to come and participate, and there's something for you here. So that's a little bit about what I do, but yeah, I'm a big fan of the phrase "arts for all," and I'm glad that I get to work somewhere that's a part of it.
So, Blakely, you actually just mentioned it. So, talking about the mission and goals, with what you have here at Manhattan Arts Center and what you guys are, I'd like you to kind of elaborate a little bit about what mission you have here at MAC and what your goal is for everything for the community, for the youth, for Arts for All, and what that looks like for you guys.
I think it just comes down to, we believe that everyone has a place in some kind of creative expression, and we're your vehicle to get there. We do a wide variety of things, not just theater, but visual arts and 3D and 2D of all different kinds of mediums. And there's an approachability to it. If you're just curious about trying something, you have a home here, you have a place here. And you can keep honing your craft and your skill, or you can be introduced to it and give it a shot. And we believe there's a place in the arts for every single person, period. And we can be your hub. We are your hub to make that happen. And so, yeah, it's Arts for All is our motto, and we take that very seriously, very literally. And it's just a wide, welcoming place we have. It's a guiding factor, and it's a challenge, and it's a promise all at the same time.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
Yes. We actually just had, he's active duty military, just moved here from Hawaii and came into the Art Center this week, and self-taught acrylic artist, but he's interested in teaching a fire dance course. That's something that he learned when he was in Hawaii, and I said, let's try it. So if you have an idea and want to come in and try it, that's our motto too. Let's try it. Let's see if we can do it, and let's see if we can get the community involved and help you pursue your interests as well.
So yeah, I love that fact, right? Like all inclusive for whatever it is, from fire dancing to theater and everything in between. And I mean, heck, we're in an art gallery right now from somebody from Lawrence, which I know, but but no, all inclusive. I love that aspect of what you guys have here. So I'd like to expand a little bit more into that too, because that does offer a good segue to what you guys all offer here, right? The programs, the offerings, what that is. So I know that we were just talking about the youth programs and what that has been for you, and kind of how you've expanded on that. And let's just talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I started part-time last October and full-time this June. And when I came into this position, the youth programming was 2 youth theater shows, one in the fall and one in the spring. And between me directing the fall show last year and now, we now offer a summer programming for youth 6th grade to 12th grade. And we're starting a tech academy, so it's technical theater based. So those who don't want to be on stage, we provide an opportunity for them to learn about lights, about sound, about set construction, prop construction, all the design aspects. And we piloted that this summer with our McCompany program, our older youth program, and they were able to do a lot of the lighting and sound and stuff for our current show, Spam-A-Lot. Yeah. And then looking forward to this fall, we're continuing with our McAdemy program, which is our 1st through 9th grade theater shows, but we're also expanding on that tech program where there's individual classes now for scenic design and scenic construction and lights and sound, and we're also starting some improv classes, and we're running some D&D campaigns here. So just kind of expanding the scope of what theater and acting and storytelling is, and broadening it from just the stage to a wider range of how you can tell stories.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So really kind of focusing in on the whole aspect of from on stage and being the star to behind the scenes and being the star behind the scenes to it too, right? So I love that aspect of it all. And then, we talked a little bit too, but I think you're kind of doing the programming and all that kind of stuff, what that is, and how do you decide what you're doing with those?
Well, first of all, you need solid theater programming, because that's kind of what my mission is. And you need to look at lots of different variables for that. Traditionally, a lot of theater people see arts programming on this continuum of business to art, and then there's this eternal struggle over, should we try to make money or should we just invest in the art? I prefer to look at it instead of a continuum as a triangle, with community being one of the vertices of that. So as far as strategy, I need stuff that's going to involve the community, get community excited, whether that's volunteering or coming to the show, and building camaraderie around that. Similar to Addie, we're also looking at expanding our programming. Kendra and I are looking at adding a Story Slam series throughout the year, where folks could come in. It'll have a theme of the month, basically, and then people will tell a story. We'll cap it at 5 or 10 minutes around that theme, and it's just anyone in the community can come up and share a story. I'm also looking at expanding into dance, trying to build a contemporary dance show of some kind. We don't have a lot of dance offerings due to our space limitations at this moment. Sure. So really exploring what it means to be a performing arts, because it's way more than just theater.
Also, we can mention our studio manager, Justice Catron, who isn't here right now. We also offer visual arts 2D and 3D out in our smaller annex, the little building that you might see as you pass by that's full of color. But we have clay classes, we have painting classes, we have from watercolor to acrylic. We are adding some really interesting needle felting classes and different things for all ages. So we do have our youth art classes, but it goes all the way to 100 plus. There's no age limit. So that's been fun. Those spaces also are very small, so we are in partnership to expand into some spaces that are underutilized or not utilized in our community, which is nice. We're all about partnerships and hoping to grow even with our space limitations. So that's one of our big goals, but we do offer a wide variety of visual art classes as well.
Whenever you see it on the outside looking in, and this part you don't necessarily always think about, right? Like Manhattan Arts Center is, theater, and that's kind of where it stops there. But I love the fact that you have all that additional. So that's great. You guys are actually leading right into everything, so I love it. So let's talk about, you guys mentioned the community a couple different times just in that last bit. So let's talk into that. What's your community involvement and community impact, and what's your goal with how do we get them involved? I don't know who wants to take that one.
Okay, let's go, Kendra.
I would say if you haven't noticed, we are getting some big expansion of the arts in our community. With the Art and Light Museum, the Wareham Hall project, and I feel like it's starting to get the attention of our community. I think it's long overdue. And I personally am invested in partnerships. I know that we can't all do this alone. And I feel like if we are all able to come together as different art entities, we'll all be stronger for that. And I think the community will be stronger as well. Whether that's sharing resources or utilizing some of our Tech Academy kids to help put on a show at the Wareham. That's the direction that we're trying to do is build community beyond just our building and really go out into the community. We like to take art out into the community when we can. We also participate in community activities. Like there's the National Printmaking Conference. We'll be at Everybody Counts this weekend. So we really go out and try to be present in the community and tell people what we're doing and get people excited. But yeah.
So I know that you also do, we talked a little bit about like talking more to the community piece of it. So I know you talked about mac and cheese and some of the events that you guys are doing, and right now it's just in the parking lot, but want to expand. Talk to us a little bit about what that is and then other events that you guys are doing to continue with the community involvement.
Okay. Well, we are called the MAC, and when I first started, I had this vision of creating some kind of festival that could get the attention of the community and then outgrow our parking lot and get into Baby City Park and keep growing, something we could do every year that gets people excited about the arts. And we came up with the name Mac and Cheese, which it's just fun. It was just like the best name of anything. But it was, and our goal for that event was to try to keep people here as long as possible. So having enough engaging activities for all ages, where it wasn't just come in and leave. We had hands-on art activities, we had live music, our food trucks were going, we had artist vendors that were selling, so we were trying to support the artists. We also had, it's called Empty Bowls. So we had, how many? Hundreds, maybe not 200, a little over 100.
A lot.
Ceramic bowls
Yeah,
that our artists had made throughout the entire year, and they were available for donation, and then you could sample all of the mac and cheeses at the food trucks. But all of the proceeds we gave back to the community. We gave that back to Common Table. And so we were really proud that we not only, it wasn't just a fundraising for us, but we gave back. So Matt gives back too. And I think that's important, even for a nonprofit.
Sure.
Gonna add to mac and cheese?
I was just impressed with, I remember us hoping,
Yeah.
like, oh, wouldn't it be great if like 400 people came? Wouldn't that be wonderful? That would be a successful day. And we had 1,500 that showed up. Yeah. Things were running out. It was awesome. It was great.
The food trucks sold out.
Yeah. And there was even, speaking of the food trucks, and all the food trucks had specialty mac and cheese, there was a lemonade stand, a food truck lemonade stand that came, and she had macaroni and cheese lemonade. And there were chunks of macaroni and cheese in it, but apparently it was super good and it was delicious, and people were like, no, I mean, it was amazing. So I'm just throwing that out there. But it was this whole creative vibe the entire day, and everyone had a blast. It was so much fun. We can't wait for next year, wink, wink. We cannot wait for next year. It's gonna be a good time, so yeah.
When is it?
It'll be in April. We don't have the exact date, but April. Okay. So look forward to it. You have one thing.
Go for it.
In addition to our mac and cheese, we are doing a art mart in August, on August 24th. Yeah, August 24th. And one of the cool things that I think is really cool is we have not a lot of space here at the MAC, but we have a whole bunch of stuff that has accumulated over the last 30 years that maybe we don't need anymore, or that, it's time to rotate it out to get newer things. And one of the cool things about this art mart is we're doing a garage sale. Okay. And so we're going through our costume shop, and we are going to garage sale some of our costume items. And it's really geared towards the K-State students. So they can come and get their Halloween costume pieces or their party pieces, whatever they want to do. But excited to give back into the community that way as well.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I think just the fact that, 1,500 people, that in itself is fantastic. So I think that speaks to what you guys are at least headed in the right direction, right? So I think you'll be able to quickly get out of the parking lot then. Tell us a little bit about the history of Manhattan Arts Center as a whole, right? The building, the programs, everything that comes with that, and where that kind of came into fruition.
Groups of really dedicated people got together, and our building was actually a Dutch-made grocery store. And the owner was finished and put it up for sale, and the city of Manhattan helped with some of the funding to buy the space. And our arts annex was actually a drive-through bank. So now you'll always see it as a bank. But some really hardworking people renovated this building to what it is today. We have, it's still a black box theater, which means directors have the ability to change the theater for their needs for directing shows. Our gallery space is beautiful. There have been definitely some renovations since 1996, but it's still the same building, the same bones, just some improvements along the way. But yeah, this has been the space, and there's so much history here. And like I said, a lot of really dedicated volunteers did the heavy lifting to get this space where it is today.
Yeah. Awesome. So actually, you touched exactly where I was headed next. So I want to talk to a little bit about the fact of what volunteers mean for you here at MAC and what that is, and then how do people get involved with volunteering for you guys?
I can speak to the theater side. On the theater side, volunteers are the lifeblood of getting theater off the ground. At an organization this size, we do have some paid staff, but it really comes down to those folks who audition for shows, who are helping backstage. We can't pay everyone. We would love to, but we can't. So as far as community theater is concerned, volunteers are essential. So part of my job is to make sure folks have pleasant experiences and want to come back, and we'll just try to keep growing that volunteer base.
So somebody watching this video it says, hey, I really would love to get involved a little bit. How do they get involved? Do they reach out? Do they come in? What does that look like for them?
Yeah, so there's multiple ways you can do that. You can walk right on in and let us know that you want to volunteer, and we'll put you on our volunteer contact sheet. There is a volunteer button on our website that you can click on. It'll send you to a Google form, and you can put in all your contact information and then what type of volunteer positions you're interested in. And it kind of gives little descriptions of each position. Chaz and I are working on developing a new volunteer management program to kind of organize our management of our volunteers to help them have a more positive experience and want to come back.
All right, so just coming in, getting a hold of you guys, whatever that looks like, how does somebody that wants to come watch a show is it on your website? What's your website? What does that look like? If someone wants to come watch a show, volunteer, everything involved, how do they get in here? How do they get a hold of you guys?
Let marketing take a stab at this. Yes, if you head to, it should be super simple to remember, manhattanarts.org. We're an organization of Manhattan Arts. So manhattanarts.org, and there's some bright blue buttons right up there at the top about buying tickets to our events. We have a full theater season coming up. We've got youth shows coming up. We also sprinkle in different special events that are coming up that are not necessarily like the Story Slam, or there might be some random music thing that pops up. We just have all kinds of different things that just crop up. So anyway, all that information's right there. If you want to volunteer, there's another bright blue button that says volunteer, so you can just click that, as Addie said. You can walk in the door. We're just right here on Points, the great big red awning roof. It's hard to miss us. We're super friendly, I promise. Come on in. You can also give us a call. Absolutely, just reach out to us. We'll try to reach back out to you. Follow us on social media. That's another great way to stay up on all the latest and reach out to us. And I'll be the one answering your messages, and we'll have a chat. We would love to visit with you. Another unique way to get involved and help kind of support our overall mission, we have a membership program, for lack of a better word, it's called Friends of MAC. If you agree with our motto of Arts for All and want to help us in our mission, and you feel positive about that, let's be friends is essentially what that is. And it's a yearly kind of donation opportunity, and there's different levels, and they meet any and all budgets, and you can give once a year and get some fun perks and benefits for being a friend of MAC. But that membership donation goes 100% to all things MAC. It helps in hiring quality teachers and having quality supplies available for our kiddos and in our theater, and giving the best quality shows to tell those stories and have that artistic expression and that creative outlet possible. And hot summer days like this, it keeps our air conditioning on, all those kinds of things. I mean, it's literally very broad, but it supports all things MAC to have the best possible experience for everybody. So yeah, let's be friends.
So can I piggyback on that just a little? One thing too to add, we do have a robust scholarship program. As we say, arts for all, we mean it. That also means if you feel like you want to come to a show, we'll help you. If you feel like you can't afford a ticket, we just want you in here. So we really work hard. We have some grants that we've written, and we do have a great scholarship program for classes or for anyone that needs that.
Awesome. No, I appreciate you bringing up the donation piece, because obviously that's a big piece for a nonprofit to come keep the doors open, right? So I've got one last question before we kind of finish up here. It's two-part. So and I want everybody's answer, even with you being new to the group. All right, so I want everybody's answer. What has been the most rewarding thing that you've had experience while you've been here? And then on the opposite side about that, what has been the most challenging piece of what you guys have been when you've been here? You're on the spot.
Okay. I'm gonna start with the most challenging thing.
Please.
Space. Just one word, space. Like we said, this used to be a grocery store, and with us growing our programming and opportunities for not just the youth, but for everybody,
Sure.
We are running out of space. So I think that's the most challenging things. And because we want to be so involved and we want to offer so many things, we're often working in tandem with one another, not just from theater production to theater production, but also class to class, or theater to arts, or special events. We're always working in tandem with each other and trying to utilize our space the best that we can. So I would say that's been the biggest challenge. The biggest success or accomplishment that I feel personally has been our McCompany program. This is the new program we do this fall for the youth theater. It's that 6th through 9th grade program. This year we started it and we put on a full-length production in 5 weeks.
Wow.
So it was very challenging. We have 19 cast members and 10 tech members. And the most rewarding part for me is seeing all those kids interact with each other and just want to hang out here all the time. During our tech week, our rehearsals didn't start till 5:30, but they were here at 4 because they just wanted to hang out in the green room and run through lines and just hang out together. They were planning to meet up at the pool or at the park. And to me, forming that sense of community and that sense of just belonging has really been a success and very rewarding.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I would echo what Addie said on the challenge. The logistics of trying to utilize the space to its fullest potential while still growing is very difficult. Theater shows often overlap while one is performing or having their production on, the next one is already in rehearsals, and not having dedicated space for that. Ideally, we would have spaces for dance and theater education as well within the same area. So it's really just overcoming that challenge and figuring out, and lots of communication of how to make this work within this small space. As far as successes, I have only been here a month, but I worked really hard for most of a decade to get the opportunity to finally work in a theater.
Yeah.
So that has been, personally, that has been excellent to do that. And then to get to work with my colleagues here who are wonderful and passionate and have similar visions of what Manhattan can be as far as a theater and arts hub has been extremely rewarding. So I'm very thankful to be here.
That's awesome.
I feel like I have almost the same answer for both. I think one of the most rewarding things this year, I've been here just over a year now, and I really have brought a lot of change here, and that's been rewarding, and it's also been the biggest challenge. Change can be hard, and this is as we said, this building has been open since the 90s, and I do feel like we as a community are at a point of growth, and we need to keep pace with that. So there have been a lot of changes that have been made, and we will continue to expand our programming and hope that our building can sustain our growth as we look forward to continuing to grow the arts here.
Yeah, awesome.
I would say probably the biggest challenge from my perspective, I'll echo definitely space. I see that even from my corner. But also just making sure that everyone who wants to be engaged is as engaged as they can be, and just keeping that momentum going is a positive challenge. Let me say it that way. It's a positive challenge. It's not discouraging at all. But yeah, trying to keep that going. As far as successes, the first one that I thought of, I actually recently took a clay class myself. Earlier this year here at MAC. I'd never done it before. It was the beginner's level wheel, throwing kind of thing. We had a blast. It was a great time. But the other gal at the wheel across from me, she was brand new too. And one of the very last classes, she finally mastered how to make this vase type thing. And she was like, I didn't know I could do that. And just that statement stuck out to me. It was just very encompassing of, we all have these little stories from people that we interact with around here. I didn't know I could do that, or they just this little moment of success that they tried something and it was really cool. That speaks to the teachers, that speaks to the willingness, that speaks to, I don't know, that's a kind of a little success thing that I picked up on and I'd like to remind myself of every now and then, so.
No, that's awesome. No, that's why I ask these questions, right? Because everybody's a little bit different. Obviously, there's going to be space is obviously a large one right now, but that's why I ask those questions, because everybody's got a little bit of a different nuance to it all too, right? So, before we close up here, anything else anybody wants to add?
Please come to MAC.
Please come to MAC. If the microphone didn't take it, please come to MAC.
That's
there are many ways to get involved, and if it's giving your time, perhaps it's making a donation, perhaps it's coming to a show, perhaps it's teaching a class, maybe it is encouraging one of your kids to take a new theater class, maybe it's taking your first clay class. Just come and try something, and yeah, we love to welcome people in our doors, and you will get a greeting of acceptance and open arms, and we're very proud of that.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. I appreciate it. So, thank you guys again for jumping on with me today. I know it wasn't what anybody planned, but I appreciate it. I really do. I appreciate taking the time for today. So, and everybody watching these videos and stuff that way, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And please, 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 if you know somebody who wants to get involved in the arts, that wants to come in and check this place out, just support, right? They just said it. So just support, whether it be buying a ticket, whether it be coming and volunteering and teaching and being a part of the theater, or coming in for the arts, or whatever that looks like. Please get involved. Please share this video with them. You can see kind of what is behind the scenes, no pun intended, right, on what it is, but see what they have here at the Manhattan Arts Center and what this can really become for our community, right? I think that's a big piece of this, is being able to give back to the community and being able to be a part of this. So, but thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please go and hit subscribe. Go and hit that little bell so you get notified of any future content. Give us that like, because it does help us grow the channel. And please, please, please reach out to these guys. You've heard it. They said they would, with open arms, they'd welcome you guys in here. So, and it is a great space, and I hope that you come in and take a look at this one. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for joining me. Appreciate it. Until next time.